If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new songs in the description. I am defending Kanye West, and today we're going to break down why, and we're going to look at all the recent situations he's been in and how they have affected his public perception, and we're going to go into why I think it is still very important to listen to the guy and why he is essential to modern culture. So let's break this down. So first of all, I want to get something out of the way, because when you look at the title, you're like, okay, this guy's gonna go on like a full-on like right-wing Kanye defense. No, that's not what I'm gonna do. We have to start out with the bad stuff that got all of this, really media attention, and a lot of this controversy around him even started. We have to start out with the White Lives Matter shirt. Now, he's tried to give multiple explanations of why he's worn this shirt, and there are definitely some some things to the stuff that he said that maybe you can look at and be like, okay. For example, he went on Drink Champs. We're going to get into the Drink Champs thing in a second, but he went on Drink Champs to say, well, Kim Kardashian, his baby mother, is white and her life matters and stuff. We get that, okay, but it's still a very politically charged move to do something like that, and I think he was aware of that and just used it to create attention. Stuff like that, I'm completely against, and I don't want to condone that in any way, so stuff like that, we just have to repel. Also, for example, the tweet that he, posted that got him banned from the Meta platform, so Instagram and Facebook, and also from Twitter, which is where the tweet is obviously originally from, with their going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Stuff like that is just not acceptable, even though I find it funny that, in the tweet itself, he's talking about how they're gonna cancel him for not fitting into the propaganda that they're trying to push, and they kind of like proved him right by then removing him from Twitter by basically just reading the first sentence of that tweet and not the thing that followed after it. But I get that there are measures that they have to take just to remain a professional platform and something that people can trust. But I that was like the first thing that I was like, okay, he's kind of like proving them wrong and getting them into some contradictions that they themselves unload onto themselves. But something like that is also completely unacceptable, and those two things were the really charged things, the really charged elements of this whole Kanye controversy that's going on right now that started this whole thing. But let's break down what happened since then and why I would still say that I'm defending Kanye West. Now, first of all, he went on Tucker Carlson to try to explain the White Lives Matter situation. And as I said, he's given different explanations of this. He's saying that white people, wore Black Lives Matter shirts, and that's why he also wanted to give back to his friends that did that back in 2020. And for example, Kim Kardashian, my baby mother is white and her life matters, and stuff like that. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I want to say that stuff like that is correct, but also he has to be very aware of the politically charged element that this stuff like this moves, like wearing a shirt that says White Lives Matter, while the Black Lives Matter, term is something that people immediately associate with something. So if you say White Lives Matter, that just seems very, very kind of harsh. And also, people back in 2020, when the Black Lives Matter protests were going on, used White Lives Matter in a very bad way, and that's why stuff like this is just not something that you can really defend. And I think trying to defend it on such a primitive level, being like, well, white people also matter, is like, yeah, like, no shit, but why wear a shirt if that's something that people have used in a very derogative way back in 2020? But that's the first thing that happened. After that, he also went on Chris Cuomo to talk about also the same stuff, and on there we had things like him when Chris was interrupting him, he just went la 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 la, and it was really funny to watch, and it's kind of entertaining. Maybe that is what he was trying to achieve with it. But I'm gonna go back to that later on. I just wanted to add it in here because of just the absurdity of what was happening there. I definitely recommend you go watch that interview. It is very entertaining. Well, then after that, the Drink Champs interview happened. So the third time that Kanye was on Drink Champs. It since got removed because of a lot of the things that Kanye said on there. He was talking about the Jewish underground mafia, stuff like that, anti-Semitic things that as an open modern liberal society, we just can't really defend. A lot of the stuff he said was very true. A lot of the stuff about cancel culture, propaganda pushing media and stuff like that is very, very true. And I think not enough people are talking about that. And we need people like Kanye to uncover things and kind of push things in the right direction. But being, blatantly anti-Semitic is not the move, yay. Like, that's not what you're trying to do out here. And so that's also why the interview, the Drink Champs interview, got taken down later on, which is, of course, a very big thing. You can still find live streams of it on YouTube. But this thing being up there with like 3 hours plus of material and then getting taken back down again is a very big move. But I think, it's a kind of the same situation. I don't know if it was the right move. There's still things like free speech, but if it's just blatantly, racist or blatantly anti-Semitic, I kind of understand both motives in there. But it's funny that I've even seen people like Joey Badass say things that I completely agree with. I think he tweeted, "I don't support everything Kanye been saying and honestly been trying my best to ignore most of it for my own peace of mind, but censoring his right to freedom of speech is whack. Asking him to come speak on your platform and then removing/blocking the content because you don't agree." And this is something that I want to touch on later as well when I kind of go on a little bit of a rant on this one. But this is something that I find very important, and I love it that Joey spoke about this, because you're asking him to come on your platform, and Kanye is going to say something controversial. It's even before the whole White Lives Matter, even before the Jewish DEFCON 3 tweet, you knew Kanye was going to say something that you might not agree with. He's done it in the past. That is the nature of Kanye West. This all led to him now being most recently on Piers Morgan, who's just trying to, invite all the internet phenomenons that people know are going to be very controversial. And they also had some heated discussions, and that's the latest one that you can probably find the most clips on. Obviously, also talking about a lot of stuff and a lot of stuff that I just also don't agree with. But as Joey said, like you're inviting him to his platform. Why then censor his right to freedom of speech? And I know that freedom of speech is limited in some ways. Like, as I said, if you're just going blatantly racist, blatantly anti-Semitic, censor it, of course. But there's something I want to get into in a second. First of all, I also want to mention that he also wore a 2024 hat in most of the interviews, so suggesting that he's going to run for president again in 2024, which is, I don't know if that's entertaining, if that's funny, or if it's just like so delusional and oblivious from Kanye. It's kind of funny to even think about things like that. But now let's turn this into a positive. Let's talk about why we need people like Kanye West in modern day culture, because as I said, a lot of the stuff that he says, I don't agree with at all. I would do things very differently. I completely kind of want to distance myself from a lot of the statements that he's made and a lot of the things he's done. But why, in modern day society, do we always find people that have great ideas and we find 2 or 3 things about them that we don't agree with and completely negate their entire personality afterwards? It's like if you have a bad day, you have a bad 5 minutes a day, and do you go about the rest of your day being like, oh, this day just sucks because of those 5 minutes? No, you try to, at least turn the day around. At the end of the day, you can still say that was a great day. And just because you don't agree with 2 to 3 to 4 or 5, however many things Kanye West or anyone else in this, modern day society says, why do you have to completely ignore and negate anything else they say? In a lot of ways, we can talk about this in hip hop, we can talk about this in politics, we can talk about this in whatever. I don't agree with a lot of people that I don't like, say. But if they have a good idea, I still respect it. I still try my best to view it objectively and be like, okay, most of what they do and most of what they say is nonsense to me, and I don't agree with it. But maybe they did something right. We can take this to music. We can say, artists that are just dropping bad music and they drop one good song. It's like, okay, most of their catalog is bad, but, this one thing is pretty good. We can take it to a political level. We can say like, oh, people on the left, I think in general, maybe the ideas they have just are based on another perception of this reality that I just don't share. But I can still respect a lot of the stuff that they say and that they do and ideas that they have. But with a lot of the modern day, cancel culture propaganda stuff that Kanye is also talking about, it's like you didn't agree. We started out with 2 things. We started out with the White Lives Matter shirt and with the DEFCON 3 tweets. And he got his right punishment for that one. He got banned from social media. Gotta take it. Just gotta, take that hit and just get up back again and start running. But why do we have to cancel everything else he does? Now, I saw recently, so I haven't looked into this, but Adidas, canceled the ties with Kanye. And I kind of understand that companies have to kind of take steps like that. But at the same time, like, Kanye was the only like rapper or athlete you had left. Like, he probably had a bigger of a lever than they had on this. And I see him doing great things. We saw the war slash last week vlog documentary that I kind of dissected in the past video. Great video, by the way. I took a lot of work to do that. Make sure to go check it out. But I broke it down, and he had so many great ideas in there. We had a Yeezy video game. We had new Yeezy designs. We had dawn-defying spaces. We had school bags that you can sit on. We had him talking about sustainable food, big ideas that could change humanity. And also, for example, I just saw this news right before recording this video, but apparently he's trying to create like a new ecosystem called the Ye-ecosystem, or Ye-ecosystem, of just sustainability all around, maybe connected with the Yeezy campus and stuff like that. And we gotta respect stuff like that. We need people like Kanye to still come up with these great ideas. You can't forget, that's the same guy that gave you College Dropout, that gave you My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, that gave you Yeezus, that gave you Yeezy, that gave you the Donda listening parties. All this great creative work that he's done over the past 2 decades can't just go unneglected like that. And I know that doesn't excuse his behavior right now, but we can see, okay, this dude probably has a lot of great ideas. We should listen to him at least for the part that is great, and just kind of be like, okay, like shut up on the stuff that we don't agree with. Shut up on the one that is like blatantly just not really modern and not really, inclusive, and stuff that like nobody can really agree on. But like, we gotta listen to him in a lot of other ways. And I believe Kanye is like the only one really showing personality right now, who in 20 years, in 100 years, will you remember from this generation is not going to be someone that always did what was perfectly in line with what everybody else was saying was correct and politically correct. Is going to be Kanye. Kanye is going to be, and maybe this is a hot take, but Kanye is going to be remembered longer than Jay-Z. Jay-Z will not have as lasting of an impact as Kanye had. And you can argue like Jay-Z with the business side, of course, but Kanye, I think, just culturally on what people believe and what people believe is possible. And what rapper have you in the recent time have seen scoff at authority like that? Who have you seen just completely reject any type of judgment passed on to them? Doesn't that make you love him a little bit? There are pieces of him that we gotta love, that we gotta respect, that we're like, okay, we don't agree with everything, but you're doing at least something. It's the same Kanye that says George Bush doesn't care about black people. That was one of the early signs of him kind of going in this direction, just like rejecting any propaganda by the mainstream that is forced upon him. And he's one of the only ones left nowadays. And that's why we have to protect him, and why it's very hard to defend him in a lot of ways. And I don't, when you say I'm defending Kanye West, it immediately goes into a direction of like some right-wing movement, stuff like that. And that's not me at all, by any means, truly. But I can just respect the dude for what he's done, and for the ideas he has, and for the ways that he tries to shift our perception of society, and also just reality. This dude, to me, is really one of very few true visionaries and people that, want to create something that is left. And there have to be, all these videos, Kanye went too far and Kanye needs to be canceled. They need to be there, of course. And I don't support everything he does, but I'm just saying, respect the dude for what he's done. And just because you don't agree with a couple of things, and this goes in general, not just for Kanye West, in your day-to-day life, just because you don't agree with someone on 2 to 3, even on 10 things and different detailed points specifically, doesn't mean you have to neglect their whole personality and everything they say. And I think we can learn a lot from that lesson also in regards to modern day politics, also in regards to how we cancel people on Twitter, the whole cancel culture thing, and also maybe how we treat people in our day-to-day lives. So maybe keep that in mind. That was it for my Kanye rant. Hope maybe, you took something from this. It's just some thoughts that I've been having for a long time now, for a very, very long time, ever since the Kim, divorce also started happening and stuff like that. There are also different issues with, for example, him saying that, his kids are being kidnapped by the Kardashians, and I'm like, I don't know if that is true, man. But it's like maybe you can take something from this. And if you don't agree with me, which I can completely see, let me know in the comments. If you do agree with me, I would also love to see some feedback on this. I think the the best move is always somewhere in the middle. It's no extreme on one side or the other. We got it somewhere in the middle always. The truth with anything, if two people are arguing, the truth is likely somewhere in the middle between both of their statements. And that's it from me today. As you see, I'm wearing this amazing merch. Comfortable, really comfortable. Make sure to go check it out right under this video or the link in the description. Amazing hoodie. Go check it out. That's the official merch. Anything you got on this, please let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.